Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Yap, and welcome to an episode of Yap with Dr. Yap. We have with us Nader and Nadernejad in Halifax. So, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be on the show, and I'm so glad you reached out to me. Excited to chat with you today. Haven't been going outside much in Halifax lately, so it's nice to see another friendly face. It's almost like we're in person with your nice
That's
background.
wonderful. Could you please share with everyone your background?
Hi, absolutely. My name is Nadernejad. I'm the owner of Nadernejad Media, and we work in online reputation management. We help people who have damaged their online presences build a better and stronger online presence. And we also help people gain control of their online presence. So if you have a negative article on the internet, or even if you just want to improve your search presence, that's what my company does, and that's what we focus on. And I've spent a lot of my time building out help and educational resources for people who are in a position where they feel like they don't know what to do. They have a bad online presence, or, all of a sudden a bad article can come out and change your life in an instant. You lose your job opportunities. People who used to talk to you don't talk to you anymore. So I focus on working with individuals, but I also focus on working with businesses. And that's anything from online reviews to defamatory content, to even a person with, a blog article they wrote years ago, but they can't get back into their site and move it. So we focus on small projects with individuals, but also on larger projects with much higher stakes. And the goal of this is not just to help people get bad content off of the internet, but to help them publish and showcase the best things about their business and about themselves. Our saying is, create an online presence that's more like you. And that's what we encourage people to do. And that's what we try to do. We spend hours getting to know our clients and interviewing them and understanding what makes them tick before trying to publish and showcase new content and develop and enrich that online presence. So that's what we focus on. That's what I'm really passionate about.
That's wonderful. So have you always been in Halifax, or were you in Toronto at one point?
Yeah, well, I was born and raised in Mississauga, and then moved to Peterborough, and that's where I went to school. And I grew up in Peterborough. It was a big transition for me because I started off in a big city, and then I moved to rural Ontario. We're actually in Lakefield, so we're more outside of Peterborough. So I was the only person from the city. And the only person of color in my school. So that was a really big transition for me. And I got a lot of interesting questions, but I think that was a big moment for me in time. And I think later on in life, I wanted to try different things and move around. So that was my jump, moving to the East Coast to study journalism. And when I came here for university, I fell in love with it. So I'm still in Halifax right now. And I decided to move here and set my roots down here. So.
Wonderful. Now tell us about your company.
Yeah, well, I'm the owner of Nadernejad Media. So we used to be a full-service digital marketing agency, and we focused on social media marketing and helping people boost their online presence. And then we recently moved into online reputation management. When I say recently, started probably three and a half years ago, maybe even 4 years ago.
And recent.
Yeah, slow. It's just you're looking at the time and how quickly it gets passed. But It's been 4 years now. And I'm full-time in online reputation management. I decided this is the industry, this is the direction that I would like to take the business, because I feel like not only is it less saturated, but people need quality online reputation management. And a lot of people, they're not investing in an online reputation management strategy. They're not taking the time. So I think it's really important. But it's such a wide spectrum of work. It's not just working for, companies and corporate. It's also working for individuals. You can do online reputation management for the largest company or your neighbor next door. And that's why I think it's a different industry that's going to revolutionize the way that we look at modern media and the way that we think about our companies.
So if you define ORM, what would that be for you?
So online reputation management is really changing the perception or showing people really the best qualities of your business or of yourself and ranking that online. So when somebody searches your brand, they're hit with a ton of content, a ton of information. And what you want to do is showcase the best aspects of your business or of yourself if we're looking at a personal brand. And we want to tell a story through that. So online reputation management is not just managing the reputation of a company. It's managing what people have first met with and the content that they first interact with. And what the industry focuses on, especially now it's very publishing based, is when somebody looks up your brand or somebody looks up your name, what do they see, but also what do they feel? Because a good online reputation, it should tell a story. I mean, you can search somebody up and you can see, you know, their Twitter or their Facebook. But if you can see long form content, if this person is investing their time into publishing videos, they have features and they go in depth, not just about their industry, but what they do, then they have a good online reputation. So the industry focuses on that and focuses on deepening that and enriching that online presence so that when consumers are met with brands for the first time, they have a great impression.
That's wonderful. Now, would the idea of ORM only for large organizations, or do you think anybody that has a company should have one or some form of it?
Robin, I think everybody should invest in their online reputation. When I say invest, there's no real upfront investment except time that you really need. Right. Anybody, and I even recommend when I was growing up, when I was in school, I had my own YouTube channel, and I was doing my own things, and I was publishing content. So I recommend people, even young people coming up today who are going to be entering the workforce, should be working on their online reputations right now, because it does two things. The first thing that's going to happen if you work on your online presence, just publishing content about what you love and what you do, is if you ever have negative media, it's less likely to rank in search. If we never invest in our online reputation, if we never spend that time, then the first thing anybody puts out about you is going to be that content that tells your entire story. And when I think about that, that is a scary thing. So I think it's really important for anybody who's thinking about having a future or a career in any way to invest in that. It's like having an extra boost wherever you go, because people are going to search you. I think you're writing about human resources right now. I looked in your LinkedIn information.
That was done. That book was done.
Yeah, I'm thinking anybody who wants to find out about you you can look at human resources all the way to your next date. They're going to be Googling you. So I think everybody from individuals to, of course, companies, because it's going to be increasing their conversion rate, their trust with people, and it's going to get more people into that front door who are curious because they've been met with that positive interaction with the content. So I think, honestly, everybody should.
That's wonderful. Now, if I am a small business and I only have so much time, what would be my top 3 considerations, knowing that ORM strategies could be far and wide and maybe time consuming as well?
Yeah, your top 3 considerations should be, first of all, search. Most consumer experiences start with a search. And I think companies should do a Google search of themselves. Search your name, search your business, and see what pops up first. And then see how much of this content is good, how much of it is neutral, and how much of it is bad. If you have bad content ranking on that first page, that's the first thing you want to go. So understanding SEO, search engine optimization, will help. And I think kind of like how social media marketing became, a new futuristic thing. Now it's normal. Everybody does it. We're all doing Zoom calls. We're all on social media. Even my grandparents, were calling on their phone. Everybody is now getting used to newer technologies. And I think SEO is going to be the same thing. SEO is going to be almost second nature for most people publishing any piece of content. So you should really look at that. Try to rank positive content. That's the first consideration. What's out there? What do I need to rank? And the next thing is really story, because you don't just want content out there. You don't just want it to be promotional. Sometimes we want to showcase some of the bad things as well. Now, we want to obviously gauge what's going to be on that first page, but sometimes talking about an insecurity or a struggle is great because people can relate to that. And I tell my clients as well, they say, this negative content isn't going to come off. What are we going to do? Should we even invest in this or should we just ignore it? And always say, you know what? People and businesses, because a business is just a separate entity that we think of sometimes almost like a person. So people and businesses are like onions. We have so many different layers. And sometimes we're showcasing all the great layers, but the bad layers also add some texture, not only to who we are, but they give us some history. You can look at people in the media right now who have had scathing news reports, but they are, still doing things. They're still employed. They're still, they're in our public offices. So I honestly think that you should also consider having a truthful and transparent online reputation that also showcases true struggles that you've been through.
That's great. Now, let's switch a little bit to your company. So you said that you decided to focus on ORM as a strategic differentiator. Now, tell us a little bit about that journey, because I'm sure our audience would be interested in figuring out. They have their own businesses now, but they need to pivot and they need to do something different to make themselves much more known in the field of industry that they're interested in.
Yeah, I think the reason why it became a differentiator is I realized not only was I good at it, but I felt more fulfilled. I think I started digital marketing in the beginning because it was something I liked. I realized I loved making content and I loved helping people market their content. I love growing things from scratch, and I loved that process. And I was working with small companies in the GTA, your standard heating, ventilation, air conditioning. It was really full service and everywhere. And while I really enjoyed the work, I wouldn't say it was the most fulfilling thing that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. And I've worked on small online reputation management projects in the past. I was working for a car dealership, helping them boost their online reviews and doing some, customer outreach. And I was working on freelance projects. So I was working with Bernardo Javalquinto Legos. He was founding a nanotechnology startup, and he was looking to boost his online presence because he wanted to seek capital. So I helped him source all of he was sourced in the media already, and I helped him create his Wikipedia article. So I was doing small projects like this, but I'll tell you when it changed for me. I used to post classifieds to get business. I used to go on Kijiji, and I did not know how to do marketing in terms of growing my own business and getting leads through the door. I would post videos, and I would do everything that I could, and I would get a few leads. But then I realized a big game changer for me in those beginning stages, those first few months, were getting on classifieds, and it's kind of like guerrilla marketing, but writing long form ads about, are you looking to, I wrote everything from, are you looking to, grow your business and reach more people on YouTube, to, are you looking to improve your online presence? And it was when one of these ads struck, I actually thought I would get, contacted by businesses, but I was contacted by a guy who, he was a gym trainer, and he was in trouble for tax evasion.
Oh dear.
And he said, I need to get this content buried right now. I thought, this is an odd request. I've never had something like this before, right? So it was when I started doing that, and I realized, wait a minute, because I learned the SEO practices, and I was doing SEO writing in the ads, I was doing it in the videos, I was doing it, all over the place. But now honing it in and helping someone fix their online image was a great feeling. And I realized if I could help one person, then how many people out there have negative news reports, or there's been, a story or a bad press release? What if I could help those people too? And then that's where the differentiator came. I started to test more of that content. I started to make videos. One video that I had made was bringing in 3 to 4 different leads a month. And I looked at the video, I thought, there's a lot of people coming in from this video. But the video only had, 4, 5, 6,000 views. And I'm thinking, if the video is converting this high, like if people are reaching out to me over this video at such a high rate, they're searching for this and they really need this help. So that was a differentiator. People really need this and there's just not enough out there.
That's wonderful. Wow. It's amazing and inspiring for our folks, I'm sure. Now, a little bit of switch on, for those who may not know, we are recording this during the pandemic, and that's why we're in little boxes right now. And what is your company doing during this time? How are you adjusting? Did you have to pivot?
So at the moment, we're all working remote. What we've been doing is using Google Drive and Zoom more than ever. So what we'll do is we'll collaborate, and we've organized everything so that we can go in. We do a lot of article writing and content writing. So we've organized processes that way. But outside of that, I found that I was really worried. We had a major drop in business within the first 3 weeks of the pandemic. And I thought, okay, no one's coming through the door. I could feel it, when you speak to a client on the phone or you're speaking to even your team and they're just worried. So I felt like things were going to go bad, but in fact, it didn't happen that way. I was teaching online courses at the same time. It's a part of my business model on the side. And I have about 30 courses on online teaching platforms, like Udemy and Skillshare, teach marketing, online reputation management. And my students within the time had shot up from around 20,000 to over 100,000. Now it took me 2 years to get to 20,000 students, but it only took me 2 months to get to over 100,000 students.
It's amazing.
So that was one big part of it. And then people started to come back in. I think people were worried at the beginning of the pandemic, and they still are. I mean, we can feel the tension in the air. We're still, cooped up in our houses for the most part. But I think when people sit inside for a while, especially business people, they start to think about self-improvement and about how their company's perceived. And if there was a problem that was there before, they want to fix it now while they have a little bit of extra time. So we were very lucky in that sense that a lot of the business is online and that we had that other infrastructure to help support during this time. I know I'm telling people to go out there and make content and online courses because you can leverage those things, like those email lists, in a compassionate and caring way during a time like this.
Right. Now, what's next for your company? Past all of this, what happens now?
So the next steps is I want to introduce a little bit more quality, not just into the business and my business, but into the industry. I'm looking at what's out there. And there's a lot of, we'll remove your media, give us a call, that's it. Have a bad reputation, we'll fix it. And it's very call to action. It's very, we know you have a problem, we're gonna fix it right now, jump on a call with us. I think there's a big opportunity to start putting resources out there often. I like I said, only made a few videos. I wish I had more time, and I knew back then how effective they would be over the long term. But I think there's a real opportunity for people who want to, for the next 10 years. Seems like a long time, but I honestly think if you put the time in now in an industry like this and start creating content that you truly want to help people with, I think that's going to be the biggest indicator of growth in your business, and especially in a business like this, because this is a business where people genuinely need help. Not just businesses, but people who have had their lives destroyed because of a negative article or a bad, one negative article can throw all your job opportunities out the window. You go to your next date and the person doesn't want to see you because there's a bad article on the internet or something, right? So I honestly think if we can give people the resources they need to be able to have control over their reputation, to be able to get some of that control back, even if it's just a little bit, people are going to remember you and they're going to remember that you helped. So what I'm focusing on now is introducing some more of that help content, some more of, I call that quality, because I feel like there's not enough out there. Part of that's building the new website. Right now, I want to build a website where I can have help resources and videos and even a free academy for people to go through and follow along and learn how it works. Because there's so many it's a multifaceted type of industry. It's not just SEO, it's not just writing, it's not just doing long form articles like a journalist does, it's not just PR, it's everything combined. So I feel like if people had the power to do it themselves, they would, and I encourage.
That's wonderful. Great. So thank you so much for that very enriching explanation of what
Thank you for your
OER
time.
is.
I love talking about this stuff. I would never go if, you know, I really like it, and I'm happy that you're looking into it. I feel like it's a really important industry, and it should be talked about more.
That's great. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care.